It's big back season, November, baby. Happy Friday. Welcome to another episode of Murder, Mysteries, and More. I'm Kaylee.
And I'm Desi.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to, I put hill, hit
Heal.
the bell next to the subscribe button to turn on post notifications. Before we get into this case, we always encourage those who have useful information for any unsolved case to please report it to your local police and sheriff department.
The Stonehenge is one of man's most incredible creations. Stonehenge was built around 31 BCE, and it is a circular oval monument consisting of 13-foot tall stone structures, most famous for its arches, of course. The structure has withstood the test of time, and the monument leaves us with many questions. How did the stones get there in the first place? Who built it? And why was it built? With that being said, we will be digging up the mystery of Stonehenge.
So, for you guys that don't know what is Stonehenge, we will also post pictures so you guys can see what it really looks like. So, Stonehenge is a man made circular monument of stones and it's located in the UK. The outer ring consists of stone arches. A stone arch basically consists of two standing stones with a large stone on top forming an arch. These stones weigh roughly 25 tons, with the largest one weighing 40 tons, and the inner ring contains freestanding stones. The shape makes more of a horseshoe shape rather than a circle, but it could have possibly in the past been a little bit more circular. And some of the stones have suffered damage, and it could have definitely been more symmetrical years ago. And the earliest structures known to the Salisbury area prior to Stonehenge were built between 8000 BCE and 7000 BCE. And totem poles were erected into the ground, and this area was called Woodhenge.
Now, Stonehenge is believed to have been created roughly around the same time as the first pyramids in Egypt were built. The earliest part of the henge that is believed to be created was the circular ditch, and the ditch contained both an inner and outer bank. It was possible that at one point this ditch contained timber structures. There's also 56 pits known as Aubrey holes. Some believe Aubrey holes held timber posts at one point, but they could have also held smaller stones. Bones have been found inside the ditch, indicating that this could also be a burial site. 2500 BCE, there were two types of stones used in the inner part of the monument: large sandstones and smaller blue stones. Sarsens would be arranged into concentric arrangements, inner horseshoe and outer circle. Blue stones were set up between them, forming an arch. After stones were set up in the center, the sarsens closest to the entrances of the monument were raised together with four stationary stones on the edge.
And I do want to mention that during all this construction, it was not uncommon for sometime after some of the construction, on the site, many years would pass by, like they would just stop doing the construction and then they would come back years later and pick back up on construction on the site. 200 to 300 years later, central bluestones rearranged to form a circle and an inner oval. This formed a horseshoe. Earthwork Avenue was also built connecting Henge to the River Avon. The last known construction on the site was between 1800 BC, and it was the Y and Z holes. Y and Z holes are two concentric rings, 30 and 29 almost identical pits. They were dug around the outside of the Sarsen circle. It is believed whoever cut these holes intended on placing blue stones among them. But unfortunately, we will never know because after that, the construction on the site completely stopped, and we don't even know why the construction stopped. The first written account of Stonehenge was around 1138 CE. There is a lot of speculation and theories on how it was built, why, and who built it.
The stones were also placed in upright positions, and it would take a lot of manpower. The stones The stones were also placed in upright positions, and it would take a lot of manpower to even move one stone upright. The wheel was not invented at this time. The stones were not found locally in Salisbury. Some experts state that some stones were brought 90 miles away, and it is very possible that other stones would have traveled even further. One theory was that the Bronze Age people used logs to bring the stones over. Basically, the chopped down trees. The chopped down trees? The chopped down trees. The chopped down trees that took the logs.
They chopped down tree.
Basically, they chopped down trees and took the logs, placed them together, then put the stone on top. This would have required easily 1,000 workers. If this was the route they took, it is estimated it would take 10 years total just to move the stone to the location. This does not include the time it would take to arrange the stones and construct the site. It would require years of sacrifice, tough labor, and dedication. We cannot confirm or deny this theory, though.
What about if they used a boat? So workers could have used boats to transport the stones. At first, this seems like a more reasonable explanation, but there is a major flaw in this theory. How would they get the stones onto and off the boats? They couldn't just roll a natural 20 and just magically pick up the stone with their strength and move it with their own hands. Another possible theory is that they may have built smaller stone hinges prior. If they built smaller ones, they could have possibly combined the smaller stones to make one large stone. But there are not many small stone hinge sites near the area, and it would take a significant amount of little rocks to make 80 giant stones. However, we cannot fully rule out this theory because there may be other stone sites that we do not know about. But we are unsure how they could have moved these giant stones without the help of technology.
Now, into the meaning of what Stonehenge is. Regardless of how it was built, it seems that there has to be some sort of significant meaning because why else would Stonehenge be built? The first series that Stonehenge was meant to be used as a calendar, which would make sense because the outside circle at one point had 30 arches. It is believed that each stone had one hinge to represent one of the days in the month. And there is four stones that make the outer square, which represents 4 years between each leap year. During the summer solstice, the longest day of the year, the sunrise perfectly aligns with one of the gaps between one of the hinge arches. And during the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year, the sunset aligns with one of the gaps as well. While this idea sounds perfect, in theory, it is kind of flawed. During the other 363 days of the year, the sun does not align with any of the arches. So why would this be used as a calendar when it's only effective twice a year? Scientists looked into it to see if in the past it aligned better, but after doing some research, it did not.
Theory number two is that it was used as an ancient burial site. It is likely not a calendar because bone evidence has been found among the stones. So this could indicate that maybe it's a burial site. Throughout history, burial sites have remained significant among people. It is possible that these stone structures represented giant gravestones. Animals were also buried at the site as well. An archaeologist found one of the remains was from a man who was possibly executed from a sword. And archaeologists also discovered one of the remains was possibly a person from Switzerland, which I don't know how they got there, but that's interesting. Historians do believe 14 of the remains, and it's believed that there's 60 remains, belong to women, and 9 of the remains belong to men. And these people likely played an important role in society. They could have been religious leaders or politicians. And also, while we do not hope that this is the case, it could have been human sacrifices. It may have also been a religious site, a place to worship one's religion.
What did he say?
I believe the Stonehenge could have been a place for the aliens to come visit. We cannot explain or comprehend how the henge was built, but we do know that it is possible that life exists out of the earth, like everybody suspects, of course. The theory is that the aliens used their special technology to help the humans build the Stonehenge. This theory is not as new, as there are theories that aliens have built crop circles and pyramids. They also are known to probe people's buttholes. There are also still planets in many parts of space that have not been discovered. The aliens could have used their UFOs to pick up and move stones, but we cannot confirm or deny this is the case. But if this is the case, hey, can you lend us some UFOs? Because I need help moving some furniture. My guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another theory, this one I found really interesting, was Merlin the Wizard built the Stonehenge. According to the legend, Merlin was a wizard who hung out with King Arthur. Some folks believe that Merlin is real and he had magical powers. And the earliest records known were written around 1136 CE. An ancient historian asked local Brits what they thought about the Stonehenge. And this is what they said. After Rome conquered England around 400 CE, another army invaded the Saxons. A group of British leaders met with Saxon leaders and attempted to negotiate. But it was all a trap. The Saxon leaders slaughtered the British leaders. When the Brits found out about this, they were clearly angry and raised hell. British soldiers drove the Saxons away. British soldiers wanted to honor those who had died and decided to build a memorial. According to Brits, Merlin the Wizard helped the Brits find the site and how to build the site.
Legend states that Merlin moved the massive stones from Ireland over to the site, and he took the stones and placed them. That is how Stonehenge was supposedly made. It is believed that he used his wizardry powers. I'm gonna die today. It is believed that he used his wizardry powers to ensure that the stones would not move. Stonehenge was meant to represent resilience and strength among England. However, some of the stones do remain out of place, but historians have done their best to try to fix them. There is a theory that Stonehenge also could have been used for healing. This ties in with the Merlin theory, and it is believed that King Arthur's father, Uther Pendragon, was among one of those who were deceased. Stonehenge is made up of two different types of stones, sandstone and bluestone. Historically speaking, bluestones are believed to have magical healing properties. So it is possible that people would travel to the henge to heal themselves or other people.
And basically, Stonehenge was believed to have ties between King Arthur and his family. We cannot confirm if King Arthur was actually real. However, the Stonehenge may have been a place to heal physically and even mentally. Meditation has been around since possibly 5000 BCE, and Stonehenge could have been a place that people went to meditate. People could have used it as a place to let go of trauma and heal from it. Some may have believed it had magical or spiritual powers that would free them from disease. Archaeologists did find of many of the human remains that were found were from people who suffered horrific diseases. It is possible they came there to heal only to succumb to sickness, and we really do not know exactly why or how it was built, but feel free to comment below any thoughts or ideas you may have, because we would love to know.
And into our favorite segment, which is Reddit comments. Ah! The first one is by Titans1Fan93. Went to Stonehenge, had an opportunity to go visit before it was open to the general public. It was so eerie and cool. Dr. Toons says, Dr. Toons. I did this too a few years ago. It was magical. Many people talk about it being just a bunch of rocks, but its uncertain history and pure longevity were somewhat touching. And being able to walk among the stones was something that felt quite exclusive, especially when most people don't even know that the opportunity exists. Fair, a lot of people do not know about Stonehenge.
No, a lot of people do not.
A lot of people don't even know about the movie White Chicks, my guy.
That's a hilarious movie.
It is, but this just shows, like, a lot of people of the generations today don't know a lot of stuff. Sorry, not sorry.
Dog 1234 cat. I'm thinking you bribed a druid, but I have no idea what druids can be bribed with.
Greedy monk. Don't know why, but this picture got me nostalgic about the Windows wallpaper.
Civil Maze 19. Who cuts the grass there? That's actually a really good
Ooh,
question.
how do they cut the grass there? That's damn. That's crazy,
That's
man.
the real question.
That's the real question. Favela. What's the meaning of Stonehenge? I don't know. Great question.
For one, it could be an ancient memory place.
Float loaf. What's the scale like in terms of human bodies? Can't imagine the vastness of it, so help. It's pretty big. It fits a lot of bodies, my guy.
It does.
Yeah, it's a big boy.
International victory. Nice rocks. So this one is by Mania. Stonehenge is better than the pyramids.
I don't know about that, fam. The pyramids are pretty cool.
Pinniped one. You got to get past the giant circus that is at Giza and drive out to Dasher. Out there with a couple amazing pyramids and almost zero tourists is surreal. We went to the North Pyramid, followed by the passage down the sarcophagus chamber and turned off our flashlights for a moment. We were the only ones there in absolute darkness and in silence of millennia, an experience I'll never forget.
Bond
And
character. Oh.
interesting.
Bond character name pun. I love Stonehenge, but you're wrong. There are mysteries at Stonehenge, but I assume you don't actually know what those are and are just confused about who made them. Yeah, fair, fair, very fair.
Heated toaster. Cope and sees the Englishman. Everybody knows that the new Grange is the best of all ancient ruins.
Deleted. Have you been to see the pyramids? They're ridiculously epic, and Stonehenge is some rocks in a field.
Damn.
But they're both cool.
I think both of them are cool, yeah.
I think both are cool. They're just unique in their own ways. I guess you can
Definitely.
appreciate some rocks, my guy.
Yeah, you appreciate the earth more.
And the last Reddit comment section is by Seraph_25. Today I learned that Stonehenge isn't the only one of its kind. Rest in peace, my guy. Dark Ninja Penguin says some of the stone circles in Scotland predate Stonehenge by hundreds, if not thousands of years. Orkney especially has dozens of Neolithic sites. That's cool.
The _thug muffin. There's this village called Avebury where large rocks were placed. In this village, you can touch, climb, and explore without the confines of the World Heritage Landmark like Stonehenge, with the bonus of loose sheep and some pretty hiking. And they are far more of them. Truly a much better place to visit and only a bus away. Would highly recommend.
Deleted.
I don't.
We don't want American tourists crowding the other ones as well. True. True.
Subject
Nah.
_1889974. These are just circlings of the Big Mama circle.
Big Mama.
Big Mama.
Big Mama. Huh?
What?
Bethany Slum. We do fucking love a henge, don't we? Yes, sir.
MBA or Mbamba 3. They did human sacrifices at these things, right? That is also a haunting aspect of the Mesoamerican pyramids. At least the Aztecs used them for human sacrifice spectacles. I presume the same types of pyramids built by other cultures in the religion were the same reason.
While we cannot explain how exactly these massive 20-plus-ton stones were moved from 100 miles away, we can also not explain why Stonehenge was built in a horseshoe circular shape. It is very clear that Stonehenge had significant importance to the people of the land. It is possible an ancient burial site, religious site, place of healing, or proof of aliens is what it's used for. What exactly Stonehenge is remains as one of the biggest mysteries. And thank you for listening to another episode of Murders, Mysteries, and More. Please tune in next week when we cover another exciting case. And as always, remember to keep your eyes open because aliens are real. In the butt.